Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to an edition of Crush Lusher Television. This right here is limits algebraically. So please write that down on the top of your page, finding limits algebraically. And let's just get right into it. Well, how about a little limits practice to start? Get it? Limits practice, and it's written really small. Little limits practice. Yeah, that's funny. Here we go. So these 6 problems, what I'm going to do, and then you're going to do these 2 problems on your own, okay? So pause the video and write these 6 problems down. Oh, there's no graph. That's kind of weird. Let me explain it. So let's look at what I have right here in my notes. So I wrote all 6 down right here, and I have my title limits algebraically. So remember what we talked about for the limit as x gets really close to a certain number, we're looking for what the y value is. And so what this actually is f of x. This is your function that you're looking at. And so write down this, whatever I write down, you write down. And so if I was to draw this, because we're pretty used to this with pictures, this right here is f of x equals 7 or y equals 7. And so what that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a straight line going across. So this right here is f of x or y equals 7. And when x equals 4, let's say like right here, as x approaches 4 from both sides, what's the y value? You're approaching 4 from both sides. The y value is 7. In fact, when I'm approaching any 0 from both sides, I get 7. -1, 7. Any number on the x, I'm approaching 7. And so the answer here is 7. Got it. Let's try this one. The limit as x approaches -3 of x. So again, this is the function right here. This is your graph. It's not a piecewise function. It's just a straight up graph. That is f of x equals x or y equals x, which is a picture. Y equals x. The slope is 1 and the y-intercept is 0, like that. And so as x approaches -3, let's say over here, from both directions, you're approaching what y value? Well, when y equals x, the y and the x are the same thing. And so that also will be -3. Boom. If the limit as x approaches 2, from both sides, it'd be the same thing as the y value. So y equals x, the answer would be 2. Next one, limit as x approaches 2 of 7x. All right, so that means the slope is really steep at 7, up 7 over 1, and here is the y-intercept right there. And so it's up 7 over 1. And so limit as x approaches 2, let's say 2 is right here, what's the y value? Well, I'm just plugging this in here. 7 times 2 would be 14. Bam. Got it. And so what I'm actually doing here, since it's not piecewise functions, I'm just plugging in the x value into my function, and I'm looking for the y value. I'm just getting it. That's it. So this is a parabola right here. And so I'm taking -1, and there's no breaks or anything in this. This is just a straight up parabola. I don't know what it looks like, but I know it kind of looks like this. There's no breaks in it, so all I'm doing is just looking for the y value when x equals -1. No calculator, see if you can do it. 5 times -1 squared minus 8 times -1 minus 1. So that's 5. Negative times negative is positive. Plus 8 minus 1. 5 plus 8 is 13. Minus 1 is 12. There you go. Bam. 12. So, next one. Limit as x approaches 3. The only break in this graph is when this equals 0. Because it can't be undefined. But at 3, 4 times 3 is 12 plus 5. That doesn't equal 0, so we're good to go. So all I'm doing is I'm plugging in, the x into there. So it's 2 times 3 minus 7 over 4 times 3 plus 5. That's 6 minus 7, which is -1 for my numerator, 12 plus 5, which is 17. So -1 over 17, that's the y value as x approaches 3 from both sides of this function. Next one, ooh, trigonometry, love it. So I'm putting pi in here for, this would be 5. This would be x there, sorry. 5 pi x. So the cosine of 5 pi over 6. Use my left hand rule. Here you go. So I'm going to put my finger down like this. And so cosine of pi over 6 is radical 3 over 2. All students take calculus. I know that since the numerator is 1 less than the denominator, we're in the second quadrant, and sine is positive and cosine is negative. There we go. Bam. Okay. So there we go. So those are all 6 examples right there. All you're doing essentially is you're just taking the limit as x approaches 2, whatever this x value is, and we're plugging in here because there's no breaks, there's no pieces of these graphs right now. This is a straight up graph, and so you're just looking for the y value. So this is what I want you to do. Pause the video and do this one, number 1 and number 2 down here. What did you get? A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Yeah, you want to see the answers? Here you go. Bam. Should have got C for the first one and C for the second one, and there's the work. Not too bad, right? Okay, let's try another one, shall we? No problem. Last section. Okay, write this down. Suppose we know that the limit as x approaches 3 of f of x is negative 2. The limit as x approaches 3 of g of x equals 5. Then we got all of these. So write these down right now. Pause. Okay, so here we are. Bam. So let me get them down here. Wrote them down here in my notes like so. So suppose we know that. So we have 2 functions here. We got f of x and g of x. So f of x is some function. I don't know what it looks like. So f of x at the limit as x approaches 3 is negative 2. So at 3, x equals 3, the graph approaches negative 2. So it looks like that. So I don't know what the hell the other graph looks like. So it could look like this. It could look like that. I don't know what the graph looks like, but I do know as x approaches 3 from both directions, the y value is negative 2. The rest of the graph is totally unknown. So the same thing with g. G is something different. So the limit as x approaches 3 at g of x, so 1, 2, 3, the y value is 5. So it could just look like that. I don't know. Or it could look like this, or then it could do that. Who knows? But the only thing we do know is that the limit as x approaches 3 from both sides, the y value is 5. That's it. I don't know the limit as x approaches 0. I don't know the limit as x approaches 1. I don't know any of that stuff. This is the only piece of information that it gives me. But we can answer all these fun questions. So let's try it. Limit as x approaches 3 of 4 of f of x. So all I'm doing is I'm multiplying f of x, right here, this limit, by 4. So it's just 4 times negative 2, which is negative 8. Bam. And so the limit as x approaches 3 of g of x, we know that, which is 5. Now I'm squaring it, which is 25. There we go. And now the limit as x approaches 2 of f of x minus 3 of g of x. So that's going to be 2 times negative 2 plus, minus, my bad, minus 3 times 5. So that's negative 4 minus 15, which is negative 19. There you go. Mental math, got to do it. So limit as x approaches 3 of 2 of g of x. So that's 2 times 5. And then 5 times f of x, negative 2. So that's going to be 10 over negative 10, which is negative 1. Yeah. Try this one right here. What'd you get? The limit as x approaches 3 of f of x g of x. What'd you get? Pause it. Yeah, negative 10. That's what I got. So that's going to be negative 2 times 5, which is negative 10. Bam. Something is amiss with this last one. Does anybody see what it is? What is wrong with this last one? The answer is does not exist. Why? Why does it not exist? Well, look at the limit. The limit as x approaches 5. Do I know what's happening to these graphs as x approaches 5? No. The only thing I do know is that x approaches 3. I don't know what the hell is happening after that. The graph could go up, it could zig, it could zag, it could do whatever. I have no idea what's happening, and I cannot assume that because I'm not given that information. So this one is does not exist. Nice. Okay, so almost done. Now what I want you to do is I want you to do these right here. So I want you to do, here's the information right here. So you got f of x, g of x, h of x, and you got a, b, c. That's not multiple choice, those are 3 different questions. Then you have, some graphs down here, some complicated stuff. You got A, B, C. So you have 6 total questions to do. Pause the video and do them. See how we did. Here are the answers. 24, 16, -1. Look at the work, and then the bottom is 8, and -9 over -1, and then 1 right there. Bam. Sorry, -9 over -2. Cool? Questions? All right, let's see if you've mastered it now. So here's the Isaac Newton exit quiz. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. So I want you to do these and enter your scores into the Google Sheet on Google Classroom. Nice job, everybody. Miss teaching y'all. Latest.